Okay. How to know someone or how to influence them just by watching. So today, because here's what happens every now and then. You run into someone you don't know and you get this reaction. How do you respond? How do you respond when someone gets pissed off at you? You need to know how to have an even keel all the time. Why? Mr. Clark.
I would say because poise is very persuading.
And what career choice are you making?
What and where you're talking
Well,
about.
I'm just talking about sales. When you're in sales, you have to retain an even keel. Or you'll be whipped one way and whipped another by the emotions of other people. We have to be solid in our resolve. We have to be solid in listening for what people are saying so we can act accordingly. But if we allow the emotions of other people to negatively influence us, what happens all day long? No, I don't want it. No, get out of here. I told you I didn't want any. Why are you calling again? If you can't retain an even keel, you're going to do this all day long, and at the end of a couple weeks, you're going to say, this isn't for me. And you're going to blame this external environment. Instead, I want to give you the mechanism, the structure that will enable you to have this even, solid keel. I've got a homework assignment for you tonight. So this subject is about what we call DISC. D-I-S-C. When you apply DISC successfully, in the face of all the rejection, all the negativity, you can smile. It's completely unnerving to people who wish to disrupt you. But this is what we have to do in sales. Also, it will help you chart your course. Get better and better and better and better and better. I got a call from a former student, graduated 3 years ago, and was not going into sales. He told me, I'm not going into sales. I know you want everybody to go into sales. I'm not doing it. He got a job with a fabulous company. He called me last night, and he wouldn't tell me how much money he made. But this is a big company, and he got in the top 5% of all the salespeople in 3 years. He said, I wanted to give my fiance a ring. It was my goal. I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to buy a car. He said, I did it all in 1 year. All right, so chart your course. Last, you want to be successful. And successful is?
Feeling good about yourself.
Feeling good about yourself every day. Ladies and gentlemen, how to have the habit every day, waking up in the morning and feeling great about yourself. That's the goal. So, the only person you can control is you. Can't control your girlfriend, can't control your mom or your dad or your roommate or anybody else. This is hard enough. So again, one of the outputs of the system I'm going to share with you today, and I hope as future salespeople you will embrace, because it's going to make you more money. All right, we talked last time about this notion that sometimes you meet people you don't like. So if you meet someone you don't like in sales, what happens if you say, I'm not doing business with you because I don't like you, Ms. Cortazzo? Cortazzo? No, you're not going to make any money. You're going to say, well, I'm going to work with the people whose last names start from A through L. But the M through Z, the people who are creeps, I'm not doing business with. What? Yet, that's what many salespeople do. I'm not going to deal with her. She's just an SOB. No, the idea is, how can you figure out how to work with someone in a way that causes them to be good people and want to work with you? Socrates said it best. I think it was about 67 BC. I could be wrong. But over 2,000 years ago, as a philosopher, as a Greek philosopher, he said, "Know thyself. The unexamined life is not worth living." What does that mean?
Living life, in my opinion, in darkness is probably the worst case scenario. You want to live a positive way constantly.
Now, he said that, and he said a little bit more, and that is, if you don't know yourself, then you live in the dark, right? If you don't know your strengths and don't know your limitations, and you can't stop yourself from your limitations, but yet you keep doing the same thing over and over and pissing people off, then come on. The unexamined life is not worth living. So in this course, I guarantee you, we're going to examine you and your life. So let's start. If you've been in 325, you've heard me give the introductory lecture. I'm going to have some basic things I'm going to cover. So make sure you don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, I heard that before, I heard that before. No, I want you to hear it again, and now listen, because you've grown from the first time to here. This is a structure that was invented by William Marston, 1928. He wrote a book called The Emotions of Normal People. Why is that important? Because there's lots of crap out there. Oh, not crap's the wrong word. There's lots of psychology that comes not from the normal side, but the abnormal side of psychology. And then we try to apply that to us. Marston said, I want to examine the emotions that come from people who are rather normal. So he said this. If you say the behaviors of Homo sapiens can be put into a circle, Marston said, if you bisect that circle from two perspectives, one says some people are task-oriented, while others are relationship-oriented. Now, he talks about other people. This means cross-culture, cross-gender, cross-creed. These are Homo sapiens. This is everybody. Then, he said, if you then place this circle in quadrants, you can then further differentiate this to say there are certain people who actively pursue tasks or actively pursue relationships, or passively pursue these two. He then concluded, if you actively pursue tasks, he called this D, for dominance. If he passively pursues tasks, C, compliance. If you actively pursue building relationships, he called this I, for influencing, and S, for a passive approach to building relationships. Now, in your assessments, turn to page 4. Either bring them up on your phone or paper, or however you can take a look at it. All right, as you're looking, now what are we talking about here? We're talking about something called behavior. So what is behavior? Is it about how smart you are? No. Is it about how much education you've had? Is it about why you do what you do, what your values are? No. It's only about one thing, how you do what you do. So behavior is set, it crystallizes in most people by the age of 6. Once it forms in a combination of genetics and influences from your parents and your surroundings, once that crystallizes at about age of 6, then you repeat the pattern over and over and over the rest of your life. Which says, for the vast majority of people, the behavior you had when you were 6 is how you're doing it right now, unintentionally. And it's wired here at the brainstem. Right here, caveman brain. This is the fight or flight. So, what we're doing in sales, why this is so important, is if we're not careful and we're not thinking about what we're doing and we're just responding emotionally, we're acting from the brainstem and not engaging the cognitive. Have you ever gotten pissed off at someone and later realized it was a big mistake?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So now, with this structure, I'm going to give you something to think about when you get pissed off at someone. Why? So you don't make the mistake. Now be real careful. This model has now been replicated on the internet hundreds and hundreds of times. So there are now some really cheap versions of this that you can get for free on the internet. Be careful. You don't know the model underneath it. You don't know if the model is valid. I've been working with this model for 30 years, and the one that I use that you got is valid and accurate. I've seen the validity studies, and I know it is. And this, I used one for about 23 or 24 years, and I switched to a new manufacturer about 6 or 7 years ago. And you're getting what I think is the best. All right, so page 4. You're looking at your composite of these 4 factors. Let's go through the 4 factors, then we'll talk about how to blend all of them into a personality. All right, so first, dominance. Dominance, or D, is the problem factor. So this means people who are high above the energy line here are high in a factor or low in a factor. So if you're high in D, it means that you want to achieve better results. Why do you do what you do? You want to get better. You want more money. You want better this. You want better results. So high D managers will always say to you, I don't care what you did yesterday, what I want you to do is this today. You've got to be better. Why do you think Trump pushes like hell? Massive high D. Ds have a tendency to think that making people feel silly or stupid or telling jokes about that is funny. So, D's above the line? Raise your hands. So you have told jokes that make people feel silly. Back when I was young, it was Pollock jokes. You can't say that word. Well, they were. It was funny, and we all thought it was funny. The D's thought it was funny. The high C's don't think that that's funny a bit. And if you piss them off, be careful. What D's do is they like to fight out front. C's, you'll learn, they like to knife you in the back when you're not looking. The emotion attached to dominance is anger. So, low D. Low D? Okay. So high D, my D is about 9.5. So I might say to you, so why didn't you do the report? How does that feel? It's like, oh, God, are you mad at me? No, that's just D talk. That's that's the natural intensity of D. So when you hear that or feel that, it feels like someone's upset at you. I want you to translate that from here to here. It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's just a D. So how do you talk D talk? D's want it. Be bold, be brief, be gone. See how that's Trump up one side and down the other? Okay, the exercise here is to both learn about yourself and then low D's. I want you now to begin thinking, oh yeah, that's my dad. That's my roommate. That SOB, he pushes me all the time. Now wait, how can I push back? The answer is, you gotta bark like he does. What does that mean? Unintentionally, a long time ago, I cold called on behalf of Edward Jones, or Edward D. Jones and Company back in the old days, here in Bowling Green, 37 years ago. Oh, 35 years ago. I knocked on every door in Briarwood, if you know where Briarwood is. And I would go door to door and try to get people to talk about their investments. So I knocked on this one door. A fellow came to the door and said, what do you want? I didn't know about this back then. And I said my standard line, I'm Chris Derry, I'm going to be opening up a new investment firm in the next couple of weeks. I'm out meeting some new people and I thought I would leave my business card if I could. He said, are you a stockbroker? I said, yes, sir. He said, you know, I got this problem with my broker up in Indianapolis, and the son of a bitch, he did this, and then he did this, and why is this, and why is that? He started giving me all the details of the problem. So back then, I had a tape recorder. Like I used to tape record what I learned from one person to the next, so I didn't have to write it down. So I pulled my tape recorder out. I said, find out for Colonel Fox. He says, is that a tape recorder? Heidi lit up. He said, son, you put my name on that damn recorder. Erase it. Good day. Turned around. I said, just a minute, Colonel Fox. Turned around. I said, I was putting that on a tape recorder to make sure I got all the details because I'm going to solve your problem. He said, son, come on in. You speak my language. He became a client. That's deep talk. Be bold, be brief, be gone. Short and sweet. Questions? If you're a low D or you're a high D, that's how you have to communicate. So D, high Ds, how do you communicate with low Ds? You gotta back it off. You cannot push. You gotta smile and back it down. If you push, just like I pushed, other person will feel it and they'll go, oh God, this guy's another one of these pushy salespeople. No. Now, later we're going to go through an exercise where I'm going to teach you how to determine each of the four styles, just when you shake hands. It's coming. Questions thus far? So this is the problem factor. Now we're going to talk about the people factor. So high in the I, and I want you looking at your natural style, the first one, not your adapted style. High in the I is someone who smiles, loves to have fun, loves to be around people, is always talking. The higher the I, the more they don't know when to shut up. In sales, we have to teach high I's to zip it. If they don't, and they get excited, they'll talk their way out of sales. So the emotion of the I is emotion, enthusiasm. High I's want people to like them, appreciate them. The limitation of the high I is that they take what other people say about them too personally. And when they do, they make errant assumptions. High I's, raise your hands. All right. They make errant assumptions. So Mr. High School, they say, oh, why did she say that to me? she doesn't like me. I'm never going to have a chance. Why did I even do this? Right? So you shoot yourself in the head. So it is a lifelong challenge for high eyes to say to themselves, in that kind of situation, is this about me? Because most times, when you feel like someone is out for you, or they don't like you, or they don't appreciate you, it's about you responding to them. It's not about them. Most times when a style upsets you, it's just because your style is going this way and their style is going that. Or they have invaded your style, or you have invaded theirs. So who's responsible for improving the interaction? Those that know. Then over time you can work your way out of difficult encounters. And you can successfully engage with anyone. Now let's go below the line. Eyes. Low eyes. High eyes, this is a supreme challenge. My eye is about 9.5. I'm a high D, high I. So, low eyes don't like to talk to people they don't know. They don't like to meet new people. Low eyes in the room. Good, got two of them. So, if you know someone and they ask you a good question, you can have a conversation with them, especially people you know. You go out and you want to meet people. Where's out? Right. So, high eyes from a relationship standpoint. Now let's just switch gears here a little bit. High eyes and low eyes are attracted to each other. So high eyes, when's the last time you had a successful date with another high eye? Your eye's high, isn't it, Mr. Rudloff?
It is.
So how many high eyes do you date?
I haven't dated in like 5 years.
Why?
Because I go.
Oh, well, okay. So your eye's high, is hers high? Sometimes it's difficult. So when you're with a bunch of people, is she out there meeting them and greeting? No. That's why she's got you. She's got you out there, and then you bring her into situations. So her eye is low. So she's not very talkative unless she's talking with you. And she'll talk. Because she trusts you. But low eyes, they don't trust people? Not doing it. So high eyes, when you're going to engage with a low eye, and you extend your hand and you say, "How are you?" and you shake hands, and the other person doesn't smile. Low eye. Not a lead pipe cinch, but it's close. So when that happens, you got to pull it back right away. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Da, da, da. That's a conversation you can say, "Oh, good, I can talk to you." But if you do it in a high eye way and you say, "Hey, how you doing? How are things?" You go, "Oh, God, leave me alone." Right? Okay. Questions? Do not let someone who won't talk to you intimidate you, high eyes. Just ask yourself, is this feeling I have that the person doesn't like me, is this me? Or did I get something from this person that says they don't like me? It's me. So, kill it. No. Use the cortex. Not the caveman brain. All right. Questions on the eye? S. S stands for steady. Steadiness. This is the pace factor. So high in the S is a slow, steady, methodical pace. Dominant S's like to take things one at a time. They speak more slowly. They like routines. They do not like to be pushed. No, let me say that differently. They hate being pushed. Dominant S's, raise your hand. Okay. Hate being pushed. Now, you won't know it because the emotion that's attached to the S is no emotion. How are you? I'm fine. How's your day? Oh, it's fine. How's yours? They're nice, but no emotion. Eyes, be careful. If they don't show any emotion, it's not because they don't like you. It's just because they don't show much emotion. D's, how difficult is it for you to sell an S? It is tough. Because they have such a slow pace. It's not all D's, but it's high D's, low S. If the S is high, high D, low S has the most trouble selling S's. Because you have this driving sense of urgency, and you want to get the sale. You want to get it today. No. If you have an S buyer who's patient, who has lots of questions they need to ask. The problem is they can't get all their questions together in the first meeting, or the second meeting, or the third meeting. It takes a long time. They will not make a decision until all their questions are asked. S's? Yeah. If you answer all their questions and you don't push, and they feel comfortable with discussing some things they're uncomfortable about, they do not like conflict, and you must do what you say you're going to do. Then you got a shot. Now, when the S moves to the left, it moves from slow pace to fast pace. Low S's, while high S's are very good listeners, low S's are situational listeners. What does that mean, Mr. Redloff?
We hear what we want to hear.
Yeah. Do we hear what's really said? Problem is, the low S has so much going on her plate. She's got this and this and this and this, and I just said yes to this and said yes to this. High I, low S. Oh my God. They want to be liked. So in order to be liked, they say yes to what people want them to do. God. So over time, you got so much on your plate, someone says, "Say, would you help us?" Sure. You think, "Oh my God, I can never do that." High I's need to understand how to say no so a person will continue to like them. How do you do that? Just did it this morning. Remember, my S is, my I is 9.5. I said, "I'd love to do it, but can I take a rain check? I'd love to be there. I just can't do it now. Could I do it later?" "Well, sure." And I get a good response from them, they get a good response from me, and the relationship continues. Dominant S's hate conflict. And so how do they handle conflict? Like this. Or they'll look away. You can be talking to them. S's are the best listeners. Even if they're not looking at you, low I, high S does not like to look at you. They don't like eye contact. So they can listen like this. You think they're not listening? They're listening to every word. And high D, low S. So how does an S like to be spoken to? What happens if you talk like this? And the S goes, "No, I can't hear everything." S's are the best listeners, so you have to slow down. And your presentation has to be seamless. This, then this, logically, then this, then this, then this. The more it's logical to an S, the more they're in. You go here, 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 here. That's what low S's do. They're erratic in their presentations. S's go, I'm not buying. You know how they say no? You think, oh, I'm in. So you ask for the order. Well, You know, that sounds like a really good idea, but I'd just like to think about it overnight. Would that be okay? And, oh, man, I'm getting close. Call back the next day. You'll get a call back. You don't hear from him. Well, he was really a nice guy. I wonder why he's not calling you back. He doesn't want to buy. He just hates to say no. Any questions about S buyers? Now let's tackle C's. High D's, the toughest sale, unless you know how to do it. High C's, so C stands for compliance. This is the procedures factor. High in the C means complies to rules set by others. Wants to make sure she does the right thing every time. Hates to make mistakes. High C's in the room. High C, high C. What's your number?
5.3.
6.9. Ooh, 6.9. That's Parsons. 6.9 is a good high C. It means she hates to make mistakes. Now, how do C's think? Low C's, because we've got mostly low C's in here. Low C's, raise your hands. Got to go into sales all the time. All right. So, tune in. I learned this from my wife. How do C's think? Well, if you say to a C, well, imagine that you could do this and this and this. And the C thinks to herself, well, if I did that, I'd first have to consider this. So if I did this, I'd have to think about this and this and this and this. They follow the detail to the logical conclusion and say, that might work. How about this? Will that work? Will that work? Because the C hates to make mistakes. Rarely makes mistakes over things that she's fully considered. Now this one, work on this one, work on this one, work on this one, work on this one. If you push to get them to say yes before they've thought through it, they'll say no. So once the C has thought through everything that might go wrong and then says, this will work, then you got a shot at the order. Make sense? So low C's, you think, oh my God. Because low C's hate the details. The lower your C, the more you want them off the page. Like, let somebody else do it. So whose C is the lowest? High school, this is you. Low C, the lowest one. Okay.
I don't know. Mine's a 2.8. His is a 2 though.
But is it the lowest of the four?
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Sorry.
High school, yours is the lowest? So you have, especially, you've got to listen in here. Because in sales, the low C's have to figure out how to become well organized, and it's not natural for you. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Why? Because I want somebody else to do it. You know, my girlfriend reminds me. She tells me when I have to do it. No! She's not going to be on your sales call. Sorry, it's not going to work. So how do you do it? You make Siri your second best girlfriend or boyfriend. You say, hey Siri, remind me to call Bob at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Which Bob? You have at least 25.
Thanks, Siri. I'm not going to go through that. So you could, if the person's in your database and you identify the person, then Siri will set the call up for you, and 10 minutes before the call, she'll remind you, you got to call Bob Smith. How helpful is that? Oh my God! I never knew you could do that. Make Siri your second best friend. How about setting an appointment? So you say, okay, I'll see you on Saturday. You go, oh sure, that's going to be fun. I'll remember that. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my God, I forgot. What do? You say, hey Siri, set an appointment at Joe's bar to be there. Oh,
What date and time is your appointment?
Saturday at 7 p.m.
Your appointment located in Joe's Bar is for tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Ready to schedule it?
No.
Would you like to change something?
No.
Or just cancel?
Cancel. See? Gotta get good at that. Low C's Absolutely, positively. This will cause you not to make so many mistakes. All right, questions on DISC so far? Questions? So let's do a sample DISC profile. Who'd like to be a volunteer? Mr. High School?
My dominance is a 6.5, my influence is 7, my steadiness is a 4.8, and compliance is a 1.7.
So I was talking to you, huh? Loud and clear? So, Mr. High School is a high DI equal. Now, when the D and the I are together, there's a particular characteristic that you have. It's called Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Remember the old story? Evil and good at the same time. So there are times when Mr. High School will come in a fraternity, come into the fraternity and go, "Hey, how you doing? Good." And he'll say, "Hey, you owe me money. Give me that $20. You go, "What the hell? He was happy and now he's," right? It vacillates between the I and the D because they're equal strength. Now, when the D is high and the C is low, this is called getting things done your way. We call this independent-minded. Make sense? Next one is high I, low C. Persuading people to your point of view. So once you are passionate about something, can't shut you up. S is mid-range. So mid-range compared to the C is be more patient than the S to get things done your way. So there's a degree of persistence there that's in you. And moderately good for you to meet people. We call this contactability, an impatience to meet people. Those are the 4 or 5 characteristics that best describe Mr. High School. If you look at your report, now the one page that follows will describe basic tendencies that you have. So not now, but if you have not read those and shared those with someone who's close to you, so you can get a good idea at the extent to which these really describe me. Be really careful when you say, "Oh no, that's not me." Be careful. Is that true? If you get some feedback from others, they say, "Well, no, you are pretty impatient." "No, I'm a good listener." Well, how about last night when I said this? Oh, what'd you say? Questions? Class is over at what time? 35.
35.
All right. Now, let's do a couple more. Let's do different styles. Who has a different style? Miss Rao. Oh, no, before you start, let me make a point. Don't think that if you're, because my D is high, I think sometimes students feel that I think that Ds are the best. No, that's just my style. Can different styles sell successfully today? The answer is yes. Now there are challenges to all styles.
Absolutely.
So, but any style can sell successfully, because successful selling does not occur because of what you feel, but what you decide to do. Okay.
My D is a 5.7. I is 1.6. Steadiness is 8.3, and C is 4.4.
Wonderful. Okay. Now, this is a pattern we call the detective or the investigator. So you have both the D and the S are high. So this means she wants to get things done, but she won't take the action until she's asked all the questions she needs to ask. So if you ask her to do something, she's going to pepper you with one question after another question after another question after another question. There's an old series called Columbo. Anybody ever seen it? Columbo was a master detective, and this was his style. I'm watching now Blue Bloods. Everybody watch Blue Bloods? That fabulous series. If you look at Oh. It's the police commissioner. What's his name? In Blue Bloods. He is the head dog. He is a DS. What this means is they want to get the job done. They won't act until they've thought it out. They like routine, but they still want to get it done. Now the I is low. When the I is low, it means when you ask questions, it just comes out of your mouth and you don't always think about the impact. You just ask the question, well, how about this? So Columbo used to do this. He would ask one question after another question after another question. And at the end, he'd finally say, now ma'am, I only have one more question. Why did you kill him? And he thought through everything, all the pieces. He knew that she killed him, and he asked. And of course on TV they always go, oh, it was because he did this to me, and got him, out, case over. That's what you have a tendency to do. Ask and ask. Now, in a sales environment, you have a tendency not to smile. Cause smiling, and you know, I've coached you on this. I'm going to coach you to smile more in presentations. But low I's do not like to smile until they want to smile. You're not going to make me smile. Right?
I feel like I've coached myself to smile more,
Got it.
but it's hard to smile when I'm concentrating.
So you've coached yourself, which means you've taken it to the cognitive. But naturally, if this is your pattern, you are blunt. High D, low I is a characteristic we call blunt, candid. It just comes out. High S, low I is concentration, focus. You like to take things one at a time. Work it, work, finish. You don't like to multitask, even though you're forced into do it, but it wears you out. You would much rather take on something and finish till it's complete. And ultimately, she wants it to be done her way. Higher D, lower C. High S, low C. To accomplish things and be persistent to be able to do them. Questions? All right. Now, how can you put this together in a way that will enable you to predict the behavior of other people? And it starts tonight. So tonight, most of you are 21. Could be that you will be at some watering hole, and there'll be a beer in the right hand, and you know, or a cocktail, whatever you enjoy. And the assignment tonight is to make sure you don't have too many of them and you can retain the gray matter. And you can engage in a conversation with someone else and determine, just from talking to them and watching them, what their style is. So how do you do it? Step one. You say, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. And smile. Chances are the I is lower. Chances are the S is lower. When the I and the S are low, you tend not to get a smile. How close?
Pretty far off. I got very high.
So why didn't you smile?
I was in a testing situation. I wasn't ready for it.
So, I failed my test. But this is how you do it. Most often, when you get a high I and you say, how you doing, they're going to say, great, how are you? That's your natural style. Yeah. Okay. So when you do, if they smile and you feel that there's energy there, you say, hi, Chris Derry.
Hi,
Ryan, nice to meet you. Nice. I's not high?
Ryan. It's 4.4.
4.4. See, it's right in the middle because he said hi. My eye is high, like, wow, how you doing? When you feel that energy, that's D-like. If there's less energy, if someone says, now C is not going to reach out and shake your hands, I'm telling you. C's, high C's, high C's. But now your D is there. If you want to do it, you'll do it. If someone just comes up and says, hey, how you doing? You go, what's this? That's the C. C's are skeptical. They hate to make mistakes. But once the C can dislodge all of that anal thinking, after a beer or two, the C can become a different person. And they stop being so anal. They just have fun. All right. This is my wife. I love her to death. And she is the anal side of our family that reminds me, like I told you, reminds me when things need to be done. She's always thinking ahead. This. So she comes up with a list. Okay, I want you to do this. Now remember, sometime this weekend we got to do this and this and this. And I think, oh, do I have to do that? I think, no, wait. She knows why. I say, well, why? Well, because of this and this and this and this and this. She's already thought it out. Me, I might want to watch a game or something. Well, I've got to. If I follow her advice on when to do things, I don't screw up very often. I've learned. It only took me 30 years. Low C's, you can learn faster. So, handshake first. So the C engages. The C is more cryptic, and they will say, hi, my name is Bob Smith. You know Greg Seaman. You ever take a class with him? High D, high C. Same thing. He's got them both. But the C is higher. So there are times when he is very anal. And if you question him on something, you're going to get something back. Well, blah, 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 blah. He rarely makes mistakes. After the smile, you feel the intensity of the, if there's not much smile, then you think to yourself, now I may have a D here. So keep the conversation going and see if I feel pressure. If I don't feel the pressure, then it's probably a C. And so then look for reinforcement. You continue to have a conversation. And what's the best way to engage with someone that you don't know? What's the first thing you ask?
Where are you from?
Where are you from? Now, a good salesperson is one who asks questions, and even if the I is high, they button it up. You ask a question and you listen, whether your S is low or high. You listen for the response. They say, I'm from Moline, Illinois. You say, Moline, Illinois? I've never been there. Has your family been there for a long time? D-I, S, or C, they'll go, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is continue to ask questions, especially the why question. How long has your family been there? Oh, for 3 generations. Why did they stay? Why is Moline such a great town? You got them talking. This is what great salespeople do. The exercise that we do in 325 is called I'm Curious. And the I'm Curious exercise, which you should practice, you can practice at the bar tonight, is in a conversation with someone new, all you can do is ask a question. How about this? Why did you do that? After about 10 minutes, the person will look over at you and they'll think, wow, what a great person. Why? Because you just asked the person questions. You haven't said a thing about yourself. When should you talk about yourself?
Not sure.
When they ask. Same thing in sales. When do you talk about your product? When they ask. Questions? Tonight, I want you to have a great time wherever you are. Pull it back, D's. You don't have to start with a bang. And go through this exercise. And then on Monday we're going to begin our presentations, right? Yeah. Introduction to presentations. Yeah, yeah. You deliver simple presentations on money. Don't worry about it. No, this is where you're from, who you are, where you're from, what your major is, and what you expect to do when you graduate. I'm going to videotape you. You'll go in our soundproof room, you'll watch yourself, we'll coach you a little bit. This is the beginning of how to deliver effective presentations. But this weekend, we're going to discuss at the beginning who you met, and if you really want to crush this, do an I'm curious. See what happens on the other end. Have a great weekend.
Coach your five. Coach your bar. Okay, like, unless he's drunk, he's like not talking. Like, I literally got mad at him. He's like, oh, what do you want to know? Well, yeah, just fucking tell me. I'll be more interested.
I can answer a question and go. I've literally sat there 15 minutes with her, not in my head, which for me, like, will keep her going. And I'll just say a word.
That's all she needs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Figure that one out quick.
I'm hungry. I'm just hungry. I'm tired.
This is a real simple sleep.
Totally woke me up.
Assess
No, but I think she was right.
how well you deliver a presentation.
Yeah, what up?
Because you're going to be making presentations. Team 1 makes the presentation on Wednesday the 6th, Team 2, Team 3, Team 4. Here's how the class goes. You're going to read a section in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You're going to take a quiz. You're going to read that on Saturday or Sunday. Come in, first thing we do is take a 5 or 6 question quiz. That represents about a third of the grade. Is that right? That's not good. Low C. Naturally not relevant.
The same way.
And I work on it all the time. So that is 35% of your grade. Now, then each team will listen carefully to our discussion, and they'll take the main points, they'll divide those main points out, and then they will deliver in a 3 to 4 minute presentation how they think those points ought to be fulfilled, ought to be applied to your classmates. So this is what you ought to do. And we'll talk about how to do that a week from Monday. I'm sorry, next Friday. So then, the purpose of this is for you to hear how your fellow students think that these principles ought to be applied in sales. Okay. Now on Friday, I invite in a sales manager, and he or she and I have a discussion up front about the actual application of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People in a sales force. And what I want you to do is ask questions. Now, I give you 1 point of attendance on Monday and Wednesday, and I give you 5 points of attendance on Friday. I want to bribe you to come in on Friday. The reason is that these discussions are probably the best part of the class. You don't realize it because you're a senior and you want to get this out. So that's the process through the whole course. Last thing we do is a final presentation, and this is you delivering to your fraternity, your church group, some group that you're affiliated with. And your presentation is why the group should read and apply the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Then if you actually deliver it to them, to a minimum of 6 people, you get extra credit.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do I need to download like an app for the attendance?
I'll send that out to you. The answer is no. I need to send you out a QR code, and I've got my iPad, and you'll come in with that QR code. All you have to do is show it to the reader, and that records you in for the session.
Okay.
I'll send that out this week.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry.
Now, I have one question for you. Why are you wearing that Spartans shirt?
It's, my dad went there. I'm a big fan. It's been a good season. You know how to say, man?
You bet.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah. I think Michigan State just beat you, didn't we? Like, did we go over and not play yet?
No. Oh, in basketball?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't follow. I just follow football.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, it's a great rivalry.
Yeah, it is.
Good.
All right. Well, nice to meet you. Sorry about missing class.
Okay.
All right. See ya.